Hello and welcome back to another MLB The Show video. Today it's going to be something a little different, something quick, but if you remember, if you were watching my channel earlier at the beginning of the year, I did a simulation in MLB The Show of the entire season and just saw what MLB The Show predicted for the season, and it was a fun little video. So now that the season's over, I thought it'd be fun to kind of revisit that video and see what MLB The Show got right. Obviously, the playoffs haven't happened, so I'll just be going over like the records and standings and stuff like that. But first, what I wanted to look at was the All-Star Game rosters, because in MLB The Show, in that simulation, I stopped the simulation at the All-Star break to see the rosters, and I'm actually kind of mad right now because when I look back at the video, for the National League, I looked through all the pitchers, all the reserves. But for the American League, I just didn't. I only looked at the starting lineup and then the starting 5 pitchers and then like 2 other relievers. So I didn't see any of the reserves, didn't see the rest of the relievers for the AL. Don't know why I didn't look at all of them, but this is all we got. But anyway, for the NL, I'm actually shocked. So like in MLB The Show, I don't know if it must be something with the way it's coded or whatever, but they can't have as many All-Stars as they do in real life. They do have more than a 25-man roster, because on the bench for the position players, there's like, I think 11 reserves, so there's definitely more than 25, but they still only have 5 starters and 7 relievers. But here's what's crazy. 4 of the 5 starters that MLB The Show predicted, I guess, for the All-Star game were actually All-Stars in real life. And I would say 3 of them were kind of unexpected. One of them, you could say Walker Buehler, he could have been expected, but obviously Max Scherzer is going to make the All-Star game. Walker Buehler was kind of a toss-up, like before the season started, you don't know what he's going to be. But the fact that MLB The Show was able to correctly predict that Luis Castillo and Hyunjin Ryu would both be All-Stars, I think that's crazy. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, but I think that's really crazy that that they got that right. But as far as pitching goes, the only other pitcher, the only reliever that they got right was Will Smith. Guys like Edwin Diaz, Kenley Jansen, Iglesias, even that's who MLB The Show said, and you'd think they'd be locks for it, but they just didn't perform this year, so they didn't make the All-Star game. And then for the NL starting lineup, they had Austin Barnes as the catcher, so that's never going to be right. But they got Freddie Freeman right. He was a starting first baseman. They got Arenado and Acuna right. They were both starters at their positions. For this, Anthony Rendon was the starting DH. I don't think he was in real life. I think he was a reserve. But then in the reserves on this game, they got 4 of them right. They got Contreras, who ended up being a starter. So did Yelich. But in this, he was a reserve. And then they got Mike Moustakas right and Josh Bell. And both of those I find kind of surprising, because Moustakas has definitely, or before the season, he had regressed. So for MLB The Show to predict that he'd return to form and be an All-Star again is kind of cool. And same with Josh Bell. He was a prospect and he hadn't had his breakout yet until this year. And MLB The Show got that right, and they had him as an All-Star. Then over to the AL, like I said, I didn't get all the players. I only got the starting lineups and all the starting pitchers and some of the relievers. But I think of the starting lineup, I have 4 of them in green. But the only actual starter that they got right was Mike Trout. Other than that, Whit Merrifield, JD Martinez, and Mookie Betts, I think were all reserves, but they still got them right. And then Justin Smoak as the starting first baseman. Just remember that, especially if you didn't watch my first video. Just keep that in mind. All right, now we are going to get into the final standings in this MLB The Show simulation and in real life. So in MLB The Show, they predicted for the AL East, that's what we're going to start with. They said it was going to be Yankees, Red Sox, Rays, Blue Jays, Orioles. Now in real life, this was almost correct. They just got the Red Sox and Rays wrong, flip-flopped. It should be flip-flopped. So in real life, it went Yankees, Rays, Red Sox, Blue Jays, Orioles. Now, in terms of record, MLB The Show was really close on a couple of these. The Yankees in this simulation went 105 and 57. In real life, they went 103 and 59. So 2 games off. But even closer was the prediction of the Blue Jays in the simulation. They went 68 and 94. In real life, they went 67 and 95, so only one game off. Next up, we have the AL Central, and they were really close to this one, only one game off from having the right order. The records, not even close, but in this, it went Twins, Indians, Royals, Red Sox, Tigers. In real life, it went Twins, Indians, White Sox, Royals, Tigers. And the reason I say it was so close, in real life, the White Sox were a lot better than the Royals, but in this, the Royals only edged themselves over the White Sox by one game. So if the Royals were, I guess, 2 games worse, then they would have had this standings perfectly correct. Now the records, none of them were even close at all. Actually, when I was doing the simulation, I was shocked, and you'll see that if you go back and watch the video, but the Twins won the division with a losing record. I don't know if that's ever happened. I've never seen a team win a division with a losing record in real life before. But in real life, the Twins actually got 101 wins, so 21 more wins than MLB The Show had them at. The Indians also in real life were a 93-win team, which was a lot better than they projected. Everything else, though, the teams were worse in real life. So as far as records go, not too solid by MLB The Show there. Next, we'll go to the AL West, and it looks like, again, they were really close to having the order right, but just couldn't get it down. And I guess they weren't really close. I guess they had the bottom 3 all wrong. But MLB The Show had Astros, A's, Angels, Mariners, Rangers. In real life, it went Astros, A's, Rangers, Angels, Mariners. The records weren't really similar at all. I remember when I was doing the simulation, the Astros were like below 500 at the All-Star break, so they were struggling. So they didn't quite get the 107 wins they did in real life. The A's also outperformed the MLB The Show simulation, but what I find funny is in this game, the show predicted the Angels to be a 90-win team, which they didn't even come close to. In fact, their real record was just the inverse of what the record is now in MLB The Show. They went 72 and 90 in real life, and in this they went 90 and 72. On to the National League now, and we're starting in the East. And this is, I think, this is the first division so far where they predicted the division winner wrong. Now, going into the season, I did think this was the most difficult division to predict a winner. So it's kind of understandable that MLB The Show got this just all kinds of wrong. But MLB The Show had the Mets winning with the Phillies in second, then the Nationals, Braves, Marlins. The only thing they got right was the Marlins in last place. In real life, the Braves won the division with actually the same record that the Mets won it in the game, 97 and 65. But then in real life, it went the Nationals, then the Mets, then the Phillies. So I found it interesting in this simulation that the Braves did so bad. They went 75 and 87 because they were pretty much the clear-cut winners of the division. I know they only won it by 4 games in real life, but it almost feels like they were a lock since the All-Star break. On to the NL Central now, and again, they got it all kinds of wrong. And again, it was one of the other most difficult divisions to predict a winner in. And that makes a little bit of sense as to why MLB The Show got it wrong, but I don't really know if I can excuse how they got it this wrong. The Cubs in this simulation, they won the division. They had one of the best records in baseball at 104 and 58. Then it was the Reds at 93 wins, making the playoffs as a wild card. Then the Cardinals at 84 and 78. Then a huge drop off. The Pirates came in 4th at 65 and 97, and then the Brewers in dead last, 1 game away from losing 100 games. Now in real life, this is not at all how it panned out. The Cardinals, they won the division with 91 wins, so not a very high win count at all winning this division. The Brewers then came in 2nd with 89 wins, so way off of what this predicted. Then we had the Cubs with 84, so 20 wins less than what this gave them. Then the Reds with 75 wins, a lot less. And the Pirates were the closest thing they got to being right because they had 69 wins, and the Pirates only had 65 in this simulation. So now the final division, and in my opinion, probably the easiest in all of baseball to predict who was going to win this one. And it, of course, was the Dodgers in real life and in the game. The game actually did predict 3 spots right, but if they flip-flop the Diamondbacks and the Padres, which is a pretty big flip-flop because that's the second place and the last place guys, but if they did that, they would have had the right order. This game, it went Dodgers, Padres, Giants, Rockies, Diamondbacks. In real life, it went Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Giants, Rockies, Padres. They got the Diamondbacks way wrong. I know I wasn't thinking they were going to be anything good this year, but they were actually pretty surprising. Didn't make the playoffs, but they still were able to get 85 wins, which is a lot more than the 63 that they got in this simulation. They were only 1 game off of predicting the Giants record correctly. In the game, they had 78 wins. In real life, they had 77, and none of the other win counts are right. So that means that MLB The Show, I don't think they got a single win count right. They were close on a lot of them, but none of the records they got right on, which I'm kind of surprised about. I thought maybe you would hit 1 or 2. But it did predict 4 of the 6 division winners correctly, probably the easier ones. I guess I should give the game a little bit more credit for picking the Twins to win, because I don't think before the season that was too expected. But the 2 toughest divisions, the NL East and the NL Central, they didn't get right, not even close. So this game is far from a fortune teller. So just one final look here at the playoff bracket that MLB The Show predicted. And, honestly, it was really close. I mean, they got the Twins, the Astros, the Yankees. They got all the division winners right. They also got the A's correct as being one of the wild card teams. The only thing that they missed for the playoffs was the Rays being the other wild card team over the Red Sox. However, in the NL, not even close to being right. They had the Dodgers as a division winner, and that was it. They got the wild card game wrong. They got the other 2 division winners wrong. The Dodgers being the only team that actually made the playoffs in real life. So overall, MLB The Show and its simulation, I would say just a 50-50. I mean, you can pretty much see that here. If you look at the American League, it was almost dead on. But if you look at the National League, it was almost dead wrong. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I hope it was kind of fun, especially if any of you guys did watch my video way back on opening day this year doing the simulation, and then now kind of wrapping it up. I hope you guys enjoyed. But anyway, that's going to do it for me, and I will see you in the next video.